For today's video, I've decided to make a whitetail grinding guide for Revontuli Coast. That being said, the basic principles of this video can be applied to any map and any species in the game. And of course, before getting started, you want to make sure that you have the proper equipment. I highly recommend the Tents and Ground Blinds DLC. If you don't have it yet, you need to get it. For those PC players, it is not included in the game. You will need to purchase it. For console players, it is included. I would almost say that it's a hard requirement to have in order to be efficient and to be able to manage what you need to do in order for a proper grind. Because if you don't have tripods or ground blinds or tree stands, for example, you simply are going to cause too much hunting pressure that will take too long to go away. You're going to erase need zones, and it's going to be extremely difficult to be efficient to get whatever animal you're going after, especially these whitetail. And then as far as collars and scent sprays and all that stuff, I personally don't use them simply because where I am set up, it's too far to range anyway, so it has no effect on the animals. And so I use the extra inventory space for those tents and tripods. As far as weaponry goes, you're going to want to use something that is capable of taking whitetail. Whitetail are class 4 animals, so make sure that your weapon of choice is class 4 capable. My personal recommendation would be the M1 Garand or the 308, simply because they're semi-automatic and you're able to have faster follow-up shots if you miss, and you're able to take more animals from a single group than you would with a bolt-action rifle. But if you don't have any of the DLCs, as far as the standard weapons go that come with the game, I would recommend the 270. It's a little bit weaker at longer ranges, which can be a problem on Revontuli Coast because, in my experience, most of my setups are actually across large bodies of water, and the average range that I'm shooting at is between 200 and 300 meters. And so that 270, you need to make sure that your shot placement is good. Otherwise, you're going to be tracking animals for a long time, and obviously for the grind and efficiency, you don't want to be doing that. You also are going to want to take the time to go through and find all of your drink zones on your map. Those are kind of variable between everybody's map, so I can't give specifics. However, so this is the hotspot map that I created. I actually used a multi-million-dollar program to actually design this map. It's known as Microsoft Paint. And scene. So I've got it color coded. If you want to go ahead and screenshot this, do it. It should be fairly consistent across everybody's games. Now, I can't guarantee where your actual drink zones are going to be located, but these are the lakes that I've found that hold the most whitetail. Yellow being the best spots, green being pretty good spots. For the most part, it requires some long-range shooting, at least the way I've got it set up. For the orange, they've got whitetail, but it's another kind of really difficult spot to set up on because they're bigger areas, there's a lot of trees, it's harder to see. And then the red, there are whitetail there, but I simply don't have anything set up there to grind because you can only have 16 tents and tripods and all that fun stuff, and you got to kind of pick and choose. Because Revontuli Coast is such a good map for whitetail, you can't hunt all the spots. You can try, but that's not how I like to grind. So, but we'll kind of run down and explain each of these locations in detail here. So this lake is definitely by far the best spot for me in my map. I've gotten a lot of diamonds from it. There's always whitetail here, and it's a bigger spot, so I definitely recommend a few tents. Luckily, there is an outpost that you can spawn in. And then kind of like what I'll do is like work my way around, eventually spawning over here and then collecting whatever I get. Second best spot, and honestly I would say it's actually tied for this spot, is down here. I do have a tent set up, but I've got a need zone right here that is just every time there's like 15 plus deer there, and it's always been consistent, always holds males. I've gotten a couple diamonds from it. This big lake area, this is a very good spot as far as whitetail numbers go. The problem is definitely going to be a lot of long range shooting. So if you're not comfortable with that, you may need to try to experiment with how you've got your setups, because for me, I'm okay with shooting long range. and it's the easiest, if that makes sense, to where, and what I like to do too when I grind, I like to set up to where I can see multiple areas at once. I don't like to find one drink zone and set up for one drink zone. So in this spot, for example, here, I can actually see two different major drink zones where there's a lot of whitetail that spawn in. And then of course, as you can see, I've got tent set up to where once I do get done shooting animals, I can quickly spawn over, collect them, and then move on, just to make it a lot easier when it comes to time spent in-game grinding. I'd like to caveat that, though, you know, as I've mentioned earlier, it's a very expensive process to do that, so if you don't have the funds for that, I understand. This lake up here, I hate this lake, to be quite honest. This lake I've actually stopped grinding on just simply because of the way it is. There's like a big island that comes through the middle of it. I've yet to find a real good process, and there's a lot of trees back here too that the whitetail can kind of hide in. It's hard to see, so I've actually stopped shooting whitetail there. I still go and check it every time on my run-throughs just in case something spawns there, but I purposely don't shoot anything there simply so I don't have to hunt it, basically, because it's kind of difficult. I may actually end up shifting. I don't want to move any tents or anything like that. I may pull my tripods and stuff off and end up shifting one of these other red lakes that I don't have any setups for, simply because it's so annoying to hunt. This lake here is similar as well. It's annoying to hunt, but it is consistent enough with enough whitetail that I can't justify not hunting it because there's too many whitetail there. Again, these two lakes are pretty good too. The way I've got it set up, again, longer range shooting. This lake, I don't know. This is another one that's kind of on the chopping block. I've shot a lot of whitetail here, but man, it's a pain in the butt, and I don't have enough tents. And this is one of those. It doesn't look like it, but that's over 300 meters, and this is usually where my whitetail are. And it's one of those. The more time it takes to go and collect or harvest your animals, the more time it takes out of the drink zone times, and you know, it adds to that grind time. So it's kind of a maybe. We'll see. I honestly, I've got a tree stand set up here, but every time I go there, I don't use it. I try to purposefully erase the need zone so I can guilt-free not go to this lake anymore. But yeah, that's the hotspot map. So if you want to screenshot this and use it for yourself, go for it. And in closing here, I think the biggest piece of advice I can give is to not get discouraged. These animals, as far as diamonds go and rares and all that stuff, it is rare. It's hard to find. It's hard to get. Even when grinding, it takes time. It takes effort. Just keep going for it. Again, do not get discouraged. If you've made several run-throughs, you haven't gotten any diamonds yet, it's going to happen. I promise you. Just keep sticking to it. Obviously, the great one is a very, very rare animal. Those are extremely hard to find, extremely hard to spawn in. Nobody can exactly tell you when and where you're going to get it. You could get very lucky, and you could be 200 or 300 kills in, and boom, there he is. Or, like me, you're several thousand in and have yet to see him. However, what keeps me going is the unknown factor of, okay, is this the day that I'm going to see it? Is this the day that I'm going to look across the lake and boom, there he is drinking water? You just don't know. Also, if you haven't already, make sure to join my Discord. If I can't plug it on the YouTube channel, it's on my Twitch channel. Join on it. I want to be able to see what you guys are getting out there on your maps. I want to see those rares. I want to see those diamonds. I want to see those cool screenshots and all that stuff. So I hope everybody has an awesome day. It's the Indoor Hunter, and I'll see you on the next one.